Good morning, all of you. Hope everyone is fit and fine. So today I'm here to explain how does the practical file or the practical of physical education, that is for class 11 and 12, which is of 30 marks, how it goes on. So there are many doubts that how do we actually get 30 marks, or what is the bifurcation of that 30 marks. So let me tell you that for 30 marks, the first part is physical fitness test, that is Psych Hello India fitness test, which will be conducted for you, and you have to perform on that. That test consists of 6 marks. Then proficiency in games and sports, and that games and sports should be IOA recognized, and that gives you 7 marks. Then for yogic practices, you have to perform some yoga asanas depending upon the different lifestyle disease. That will give you 7 marks. Record file, a record file which you have to make, which today I will explain, that gives you 5 marks. And after that record file, a Viva will be there, that will give you 5 marks. So, repeating again, physical fitness test 6 marks, proficiency in games and sports 7 marks, yogic practices 7 marks, record file is of 5 mark, and Viva voice is of 5 marks. So, total 30 marks. So, today I'm here to explain you about the practical file or the journal, which we call it, or we call it in the project file. So how it goes on. So if you look at the screen, you can see that practical file content for grade 11 and 12. So earlier it was for 11 it was different, and for 12 it was different. But from last year it has been the same for both the classes. So first you have to take a journal, that is one side plain and one side ruled practical file, and you can start writing the practical contents of this chapter. Now see the what are the contents inside this chapter. So first one is practical one, that is fitness test administration, Psych Hello India fitness test. So there are three practical which you have to write down or note down on the journal or in the practical file. So first practical is fitness test administration, Psych Hello India fitness test. Second one is procedure for asanas, benefits and contradiction for any two asanas for each lifestyle disease. So we have five lifestyle disease in our book, and you have to write two asanas for each lifestyle disease. Its benefits, its contradiction, you all have to mention. And then last practical is practical number three. Any one IOA recognized sports, you have to choose any one IOA, International Olympic Association, or sorry, Indian Olympic Association recognized sport you have to choose, or game of your choice. You have to make a diagram, label diagram of field and equipment. Also, you have to mention the rules, terms, and skills that are used in that game. So you have to choose game very wisely, and you have to write down in the practical file. Coming on to the context, the first one is physical fitness test administration, that is Psych Hello India fitness test. So Psych Hello India fitness test is divided into two parts. That is for age group 5 to 8 years, and it comes as classes 1 to 3, where the tests are BMI, body mass index, flamingo balance test, and plate tapping test. So these three tests you have to mention it and write down in the practical file. But for age group 9 to 18 years, that is for class 4 to 12, there are lot many tests, that is BMI, 50-meter for speed test, 600-meter run and walk for endurance or cardiovascular endurance, sit and reach is for flexibility test, then strength test we have abdominal partial curl up, push-ups for boys and modified push-ups for girls. So these are the tests which you have to write down in the journal or practical file, and these are the tests which you actually have to perform on the ground. That for physical fitness test, for getting 6 marks, you have to perform all these tests in the ground also. So coming on to the body mass index, BMI is very much easy part. So in at the time of measuring the BMI, you have to see that for taking the height, the person or the student is not wearing shoes, or for it when the weight is being taken, he or she is not wearing very bulky cloth, because weight will come higher. For BMI, it is very simple. You have to measure the weight and measure the height, and its formula is BMI is equal to weight upon height into height into height, that is height square. So weight in kg by height in meter square, this is the formula for BMI. So you can mention all the BMI details. After that we have plate tapping test. Plate tapping test is the test done for speed and coordination of limb movement. In this you have to take a table and two yellow discs that should be of 20 centimeter diameter, and a box shaped rectangle shaped box that is of 13 to 20 centimeter. That can also be a paper one, that you have to keep in center. You have to stand and keep one hand on that blue paper, as you can see in the video, and at both the sides you will keep yellow plates, and this has to be performed for 25 full cycles, that is 50 tap at the time of start. When the start says that 25 full cycle has to be done, that is 50 times tapping has to be done, and that plate should be kept 30 centimeter apart both the sides. So this is plate tapping test. Next one is flamingo balance test. Flamingo balance test is ability to balance successful on a single leg. You have to hold, there is a wooden plank or wooden, some height is there, and you have to stand on that with one leg, and you have to balance your body for 1 minute or 60 seconds. So at the time of 60-second balancing, the total number of falls or loss of balance is recorded, and according to that, scoring is done. So as less you fall, that much higher is the score. After flamingo test, for classes 4 to 12, that is age group 9 to 18, as I told earlier, body composition BMI is same as the earlier test. Then we have strength, abdominal partial curl up, muscular endurance, push-ups for boys and modified push-ups for girls. Flexibility, we have sit and reach test. Cardiovascular endurance, we have 600-meter run and walk, and speed, we have 50-meter dash. So abdominal partial curl up, as you can say, you have to partially get up, and two lines should be marked between your buttock and the feet, which the distance should be 6 inches apart. You need a stopwatch, you need recording seats you need. So once the signal is given go, so this has to be performed for 30 seconds. As many partial curl up you will be able to do, that will be recorded. Both the hands should be at the sides of the body, and as you can see in the video, this you have to perform for 30 seconds, and that will be recorded. That is abdominal partial curl up. Next is push-ups for boys and modified push-ups for girls. You have to take a flat clean cushioned surface or gym mat. You can take a stand-up push-up. It begins with the hands and toes touching the floor of the floor, the body and legs in a straight line. You have to perform push-ups. Push-ups is counted in two methods. First one is until you get exhausted. अगर आप थक जाते हो तो पुशअप्स काउंट करना स्टॉप कर दिया जाएगा. द सेकंड वन इज इफ द रिदम इज ब्रेकन डाउन. अगर आपकी रिदम ब्रेक हो जाती है तो भी आपकी पुशअप्स को काउंटिंग को स्टॉप कर दिया जाएगा. सो पुशअप्स इज इन सच अ वे दैट यू हैव टू perform it continuously without getting break and without getting exhausted also. So as many push-ups you will perform, that many will be counted. For girls, it's modified push-ups where knees touch the ground. It is also known as knees push-up. So for girls, it is modified push-ups where girls need to touch the knees also to the ground and then perform the push-ups. Coming on to sit and reach test is done mostly for the flexibility, where a sit and reach box is taken, which measurement is 12 inches by 12 inches. Then at the sides is 12 into 10 and front is 12 into 21 top. So a tape, a measuring tape is kept upon that table, and the subject has to be bent down, removing their shoes and putting the left foot to the sit and reach box, and then he has to stretch his body above that table. A counting comes which is written down on the score sheet. So whatever is the highest number of highest counting and highest counting where you reach, that is counted, and in the same way it is given thrice you will get the chance, which will be the maximum, that will be counted. So this you can see how sit and reach test is performed. The score is recorded, difference between initial position and final position in centimeter and mm as the distance reached by the hand. So you have to stretch upon your hand. First you simply touch it, that is your initial position, and at the last when you bend down, what is the final position that you have reached, that is counted. A measuring scale is always put on that upper side of the box where it can be easily measured. 600-meter run and walk is for cardiovascular fitness or cardiovascular endurance. Here you need 200 or 400-meter track most probably, or where subject is required to run for 600-meter. It can be run also or walk also. Time taken for completion run and walk in minute and seconds is measured. As less the time, that better the cardiovascular endurance. Then comes 50-meter dash. 50-meter dash is for acceleration and speed. The things required are stopwatch, cone, marker. On the signal go, you have to start and reach till 50-meter line, because both the side markings are done. Time taken for completion 50-meter is measured, and as less the time, that much speed you have. So this is 50-meter dash. And if you come on to that earlier, the Psych fitness test, Psych fitness test is also available in chapter number 6, that is test and measurement of class 12 practical book. You can find the same thing in class 12 physical education book, where you will find chapter number 6. The first topic is Psych Hello India Fitness Test. From there also you can write down or note down in the practical file. Coming on to practical number two, we have procedure for asanas, benefits and contradiction for any two asanas for lifestyle disease. In this, you have to write down two asanas for each lifestyle disease. What are those lifestyle disease? Obesity, diabetes, asthma, hypertension, and back pain. So these five diseases are there: obesity, diabetes, asthma, hypertension, back pain, or arthritis. You have to write any two asanas for each lifestyle disease. I have mentioned two asanas in this video. You can also write, apart from this, you can also write any asanas which is actually done on that lifestyle disease. For example, for obesity, you can write Tadasana. You can write its benefits and contradictions also. Then for obesity, the second asana I have wrote down here is Kati Chakrasana. As you can see, Kati Chakrasana is there in the same way like Tadasana and Kati Chakrasana. Kati Chakrasana, I have also mentioned that benefits and contradiction of Kati Chakrasana. So in this way, two asanas for obesity, that is Tadasana and Kati Chakrasana. Apart from this, you can write Pavan Muktasan, Matsyasana, Halasan, Paschimottanasana, Ardha Matsyendrasana, Dhanurasana, Ustarasana, then Surya Bhedan Pranayam. All these asanas can be written for obesity. Coming on to the next, diabetes. Diabetes, I have mentioned Bhujangasana is also known as Cobra pose. So Bhujangasana can be written down for diabetes. You have to write its benefits and contradiction also. Apart from Bhujangasana, I have written down Salbhasana. So Salbhasana also you can write the techniques, how it is done, and its benefits and contradiction also can be written down from this only. Apart from this, for diabetes, you can also write Katichakrasan, Pavan Muktasan, Dhanurasan, Vajrasan, Paschimottanasana, Ardhamatsyendrasan, Mandukasan, Gomukhasan, Yog Mudra, Ushtarasan, Kapalbhati. There are a lot many asanas which you can write down in the journals. Coming on to the asthma again we have Tadasana, which is same in the obesity. You can note it down from the obesity part. And the second asana for asthma is Vakrasan. I have mentioned Vakrasan here. For Vakrasan, you can write Vakrasan and then the benefits and contradiction of Vakrasan. Coming on to the hypertension, I would also like to mention for asthma, you can write Urdhva Hastasana, Urdhva Mandukasan, Bhujangasan, Dhanurasan, then Ustarasan, Vakrasan, Kapalbhati, Gomukhasan, Matsyasan, Anulom Vilom. So all these asanas can be written for asthma. Coming on to hypertension, you can take Tadasana from obesity and Kati Chakrasan from obesity. These two asanas can be repeated in hypertension, but it is better if you want to write some other asanas. So for hypertension, you can write Uttan Padasan, Ardhalasan, Saral Matsyasan, Gomukhasan, Utnan Mandukasan, Vakrasan. So all these asanas can be easily written down. Then after that we have back pain. For back pain you can write Tadasana from obesity and Bhujangasana from diabetes. Again the same repeating of asana, Tadasana and Bhujangasana. But if you want to write some other asanas, you can write Urdhva Hastasana, Ardha Chakrasan, Ustarasan, Vakrasan, Matsyendrasan, Bhujangasan, Bhadrasan, Makrasana, Nali Sodhan Pranayam. So all these can be written down for back pain or the arthritis. So practical three, coming on to practical three, yes. And now the concept was that where from where you can write all these asanas. So these asanas or these asan parts are all the asanas are mentioned in Yoga as Preventive Measure for Lifestyle Disease, chapter number 3. From there also you can write the number of asanas or the asanas which you want. And the last practical is practical number 3. Anyone IOA recognized sport or game of your choice, label diagram of field and equipment. So this you have to take any one game. Lot many games option are available and it can be written down from Wikipedia or Google search engine depending upon the interest of the game. Good options are volleyball, football, basketball, kho, handball, athletics. So these are the very good options which you can mention, which you can write down. Volleyball is very much easy, which you can write down. So simply you have to do what you have to do is you have to search the same thing, same or game on the Wikipedia. You have to write the history of the game. You have to write the measurement of the games. Then you have to write what are the rules and regulations of that game. Then you have to mention the terms which are used in that game. For example, if I'm taking volleyball, so volleyball I have to write down the history from where it has actually been game. Then at the left side I will stick the image of that volleyball court, or I can draw a volleyball court. That will be much better. Then after that I have to write what are the skills that are used in volleyball, like passing is there, boosting is there, spike is there, service is there. So in this way you have to write down the volleyball skills. Then what are the terms that are used in volleyball? Spike is there, boost is there, then dig is there, dive is there, blocking is there. So these all are the terms that are used in volleyball that you can explain. Then after that, we can write down that what are the measurements of volleyball court. So you can mention all the measurements by writing it. Then after that, you can might write which are the famous tournaments are there for volleyball, which are the good players at national, international levels in volleyball. So all these things can be mentioned in that game. So in this way, you have to you can write any other game, but do before writing, do think of that the game which you are writing, you should be aware of that game, because playing is something else and writing down and getting the answers, because the external examiner always asks the question from these games only, or mostly from these games only. So you have to prepare this game, and at the time of writing the journals, it's very important that the thing which you are writing, learn it properly, because there are chances that Psych Hello India fitness test may come in the board exam, or the asanas part, preventive measure for lifestyle disease. So there are chances that many of the asanas can come in the exam. So feel free if you have any doubt to contact us. Thank you all of you. Do like and subscribe or share our channel. Thank you all of you.